against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our Daily Gun Show. We're going to be live every weeknight at midnight Eastern, and we talk about guns for an hour. Recently went over to Gunstreamer and played around with the Daily Gun Show channel over there, and found, or just kind of scrolled through the episodes that were hosted over there on Gunstreamer. And those are from episode, 140 something, 150. I don't know, that's how many views. About 100, episode 150 or something, up until now. So a bunch of them, you can see that we didn't put a lot of effort into the thumbnails. I'm not even sure if we were uploading them as a podcast back then. The shows were, I think, mostly 2 hours. I got it going kind of quickly here. They were maybe a couple of hours long, and they didn't lend themselves to podcasting. When we first started the show, it was expensive. It cost money to host, or so we thought, and we weren't interested in podcasting. And then you can see at some point, we, as the show changes and evolves, so do the thumbnails and the way that we present the show. The way that we structured the show changed. When we originally started the concept of the Daily Gun Show, we wanted it to be like a radio station or a radio show where we would play the DJs and other people would create content that we would feature. But that quickly changed into a 20 and an hour-long minute focus on the news, and then the opposite of the news, knowing to listen to the agenda-driven topics, as they're disseminated, since we talk about them in other shows. So what we started to do is talk about other gun topics, intentionally not the topic of the day. And that seems to be the most fun to do long term, and not get burnt out. And you can see with the thumbnails, as the show changed and developed, kind of played with it and had fun. Thought it was neat, so I made a video to show that. And if you haven't gone back and done a bit of a resume like that with your channel, why not? You put all that effort into your show, go back and look at it once in a while and share that with people. Every day we try to have something over on guncalendars.com, a place where we store interesting Second Amendment and gun-related content or events. And this is a video that was posted on the Gun Website's channel earlier today. Good morning. We're taking another look over on guncalendars.com. It's June 20th, and we've got a couple of things to talk about today. First off, Christopher Spencer was born. Of course, we're familiar with the Spencer rifle. He also invented that pump-action shotgun. Spencer, born today in 1833. It's also the anniversary of the passing of William Fairborn. Fairborn, the Sykes-Fairborn knife. Fairborn was a hand-to-hand combat and firearms instructor, learned from the streets as a Royal British Marine, a police officer, and took his experiences and taught most of the OSS, or the spies of World War II, how to efficiently and quickly dispatch using the most efficient fighting styles possible. Most of those techniques are still in use today, honed and modified a bit, but William Fairborn died today at 75 years old. We also have the anniversary of Neal Knox, born today in 1935. Neal Knox, writer and Second Amendment advocate, NRA board member, and was responsible, or one of those responsible for the 1977 NRA Cincinnati Revolt, which changed the leadership at the NRA and changed the direction of the organization. He was a prolific writer and founder of the Firearms Coalition, Second Amendment advocate, and again, something that that's one of the reasons we do the Gun Calendars project, so that we never forget those that came before us, so we can stand on their shoulders, remember what they did, and reach even further thanks to their efforts. So it's also the first day, or the day that
was used back in 1939. So we want to thank the patrons who make these projects possible. With your support, we're able to create the websites, take the time to do these updates. Let us know in the comments what you think, and as always.
All right. So again, thanks to our Patreons. I'll take a moment to open this up and remind them, those of you who are supporting our projects over on Patreon, that you have a discount over at the Gear website store, and that applies anytime. We post the codes every so often, so just scroll through the old posts over on Patreon, and you'll get a post that tells you whatever your level of perk is, the coupon code, and you can use that on Fridays. Tomorrow's Free Patch Friday. You can use any day of the week, and your free patches and stuff always apply to your pre-discount. We're not trying to screw anybody, so if you get something that's $25 and you get your 10% off and it takes it under the threshold to get a free patch, you're still getting a free patch. Our goal here is to say thanks, and that was the video from earlier today talking about Fairbairn, Sykes Fairbairn, so I think you're supposed to say it. Died today in 1960. Spencer, born today in 1833, and Neal Knox, born today in 1935. Jeff's been on quite a bit. In fact, I just got a package in the mail from Jeff, I think, and I haven't had a chance to open it yet today. But cool to see that his dad's out there. I wanted to, or being remembered out there, hopefully. I wanted to mention the book, The Gun Rights War. It's paperback. It's pretty thick. It's not a book you read cover to cover. It's a bunch of, I don't know what the word's called. It's a bunch of articles put together. His dad wrote a lot. The sons took a lot of that writing and compiled it. Chris and Jeff put it together and added some stuff to it. And it's $20 on Amazon. I'm going to use this link here, which gives gun channels, gun websites a cut if you were to buy it from that link. And then Jeff and where am I going? How about the actual show that we're on? Look how many people are watching. 10. Nobody's saying nothing. That's the book. And if you want to read it, grab it. And I was going to say Jeff and Chris will probably say thanks. So that's today's book of the day, I guess. And we can close this out. It is Gear. It is Free Patch Friday tomorrow at the Gear website store. So I guess I can drop a link over here as well, since some links dropping. And again, encourage people that want to participate in keeping our business online and growing. Being online is one thing. I'll be online. It'd be nice to grow once in a while. Consider buying something at the store. Consider sharing the store with others. Next up is, we already did that. So I guess next up is I was going to say if anybody has an idea for a video to watch, but we got Armament Access and Ozzy out there. I think the only two people watching tonight. So for some reason, this show is well beyond falling off the rails. It is just in free fall at this point. So I'm just going to run a video randomly. And we'll watch a video over here about an AR-15 crossbow from like 2009, SHOT Show, Florida, if I remember right.
They are accessory. You take your AR lower, throw it right in here, and you're going from shooting bullets to shooting arrows in about 40 seconds or less. The opportunities are endless. We made a really cool accessory for an AR. We've made the most technologically advanced crossbow ever, and it blows the competition away in every single category. If you are you familiar with crossbows at all? Actually, it doesn't shoot a bolt anymore. We're shooting what we call a projectile. It's 26.5 inches long, which makes it more stable, more accurate, and we still produce speed and kinetic energies greater than anyone else. It shoots 412 to 420 feet per second. It has a cranking mechanism that is kind of heavy in the industry. What we do is just put it right here to the upper. Once we we slap this on, these are 170-pound rigs. It only takes 12 pounds of pressure to go ahead and crank this back. And if you're using a stirrup there at the bottom, you can put your finger on it and crank it silently, so there's no noise at all. Now, the other thing that's nice compared to our competitors, we're one of the only companies that I know of that has the ability to back the crank back. So most crossbows, what happens is when you're done, you have to shoot them into the ground, discharge, push it into a target or something in order to get it back to flat. Well, this you got to back out. It's exactly ergonomically designed to be the same as an AR. So when you shoulder this, it's absolutely the same place postures that are in the same posture with so it's just got thousands and thousands of features. It's got several safety features on it. Obviously, it's using the safety that everyone knows from their AR, but also it's using It's rated for 1,500 pounds. It's only 170 pound draw, so we don't think this will ever wear off. No. And in production, in the actual units, these are prototypes. In the actual units, these are black, so they'll match the tactical style of the firearm. They wouldn't let us bring it out. I got a couple of my hotel.
I'm muting it because they're talking about numbers. Somebody's buying a bunch of them.
So like that, not only that, but you can blend it. Like that. It's got the anti-dry fire mechanism here, so you don't have the proper arrow and everything that you'll not find. Only is it also good crossbow. The greatest thing about it is the biggest cool thing about your standard crossbow. It's got the same trigger and same trigger pull. It's that the trigger is variable on a crossbow. Most of the strength of the back loads the trigger. You've got a 2-pound match trigger in your lower. You've got a 2-pound match trigger in your crossbow. Because the hammer comes up and hits the release safe, but it does not change the weight of your trigger. So if you have like that's all under so accurate. It's also with this rail system. The string has not slide on it. It goes through air. And you're also string you saw rubber bumpers make that ergonomic to your not only reduce noise but provide a positive applications for this. It's about 30% quieter than any crossbow. 26.5 arrow. Right here. It's a arrow. This is just safety operated on your standard here. Safety on your weapons.
Pretty cool. So made by PSC and Volter. Both of them are here in Tucson. And they made that back in 2009. That was in SHOT Show in Florida.
And you're going from shooting bullets to shooting arrows in about 40 seconds or less. The opportunities are endless. We made a really cool accessory for an AR. We've made most technologically advanced crossbow ever. And the lowest the competition away in every single category. If you are you familiar with crossbows at all? Actually, it doesn't shoot a bolt anymore. We're shooting what we call a projectile. It's 26.5 inches long, which makes it more stable. Makes it more accurate.
26.5-inch long arrow.
Energy is greater than anyone else. It shoots 412 to 420 feet per second. It has a cranking mechanism that is the envy of the industry. What you do is you just put it right here into the upper. Once we slap this on, these are 170-pound rigs.
That's what I was looking for. 170-pound limbs, 26-inch bolt or arrow, and just fits on top of an AR lower. So AR lower and the interaction came from Volter, and then the new crossbow tech came from PSE, and pretty neat. So that was last year. SHOT Show was in Florida. Pretty neat. And yeah, if we had guests, then we would talk about that video. And I guess this is the show. Thanks for showing up and being part of the end of the Daily Gun Show, I guess. I don't know.
Guys and gals of gunwebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching gunwebsites.com.